Good morning.
Good morning.
Not our normal coffee chat because we're just bringing you along with our morning.
We have coffee and we're chatting.
Yeah, pretty much. The noise you hear in the background is sausage patty. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
Not every day is a big fat breakfast, right? In fact, I think I'm just going to have half a bagel with avocado. It just kind of sounds good. But, yeah. So how you guys doing? Are you ready for Thanksgiving? I don't know if I am or not, but...
I'm ready for Thanksgiving leftovers. That's the best part of it.
Yeah, so last week I made up several different flavors of bagels. We've got more pizza crust rising. Stay tuned for the video for that. And then I made a big batch of goulash. Of course, the turkey's in here. It's ready to roll. What did you do with all my jarred goods? Oh, they're over there. Okay.
I disregarded them. Didn't like them. Yeeted them down the hill. I didn't know how we were going to format this morning, so I cleaned off the island.
No, this is real. This is unhinged.
This ain't real. This island's way too clean.
I've been trying to keep it cleaner. Well, one, having the summer kitchen, we're able to not have so much stuff in the kitchen.
Yeah, permanently. I mean, the food-wise, though, we don't really have much of a choice. We're kind of running out of space. I'm about to start doing rooftop storage or something.
I mean, we have some ideas. The weather's really not been conducive to... Goodness, that was loud. Not really been conducive to doing a lot of work outside. We've done some work outside, but not... There he goes.
It wasn't done yet.
I could have made it on the stove.
That's too much work. Wasting propane.
This is my Italian urban cheese bagels. Oh, man, he's hogging all the real estate. That's okay.
Oh, you have a plate?
I have a plate. You're fine, baby.
It should almost be done.
Yeah.
Just
maybe.
gotta have my toast toasted.
Yeah, but time to feed the sourdough too.
What do you want? You want both halves? Or
No, I can't eat both halves. I just want one. But yep, rendered down some more tomato sauce in between yesterday and the day after. But yeah. And what's kind of really cool is the kids are off of work for the Thanksgiving holiday. And they have been on a game streak. So we have been gaming, or not gaming like video games.
Card games.
Card games. Or did we? No board games, but card games. And they pretty much just come and get us and they're like, come on, let's go play games. But the summer kitchen is performing flawlessly. We absolutely love having the space. Of course, there's never enough space, but we're able to like put up like a banquet table and sit out there, and we got the patio heater and that kind of stuff, and it makes for a really nice entertainment space. And I've got several videos in the bank that I'm going to be working on today and tomorrow. And yeah, we're a hot mess. This is unhinged, by the way.
All right. We're giving you raw.
Yeah, you guys are getting it raw here.
Raw
right?
live action.
But we're able to really enjoy a lot of really cool family time.
Yeah, that has been awesome.
We had a pizza party. That video is coming out and is just gonna be, I don't know. I love it because, you know, friends and family and stuff are here. I just switched to a larger sourdough jar because my sourdough recipe for the pizza crust takes a whole cup good start. And so there's that.
Still sizzling. I bet it's hot.
It might be. Did you want me to fry you an egg?
No.
So I had to up my game on the sourdough. And
Well, and it wouldn't have been horribly bad except for, well, we made 6 pizzas the other night, and then...
Well, I did 3 batches of dough, which ended up being 6 pizzas because I get 2 out of each. Make this a little thicker. And it's just so good. But
yeah, no. That was super fun. I mean, having everybody over, and then, of course, just, not that we needed it, right? But having the validation that the outdoor kitchen was a super excellent idea. This time of year, I mean, so it's weird. So this time of year, which this is the weird part, but is when it's the rainiest, the muddiest, the nastiest, and of course we don't have grass, we don't, like, it's just mud, right? So anybody that comes over, you're just covered in mud. And then
nothing's level, we're all sitting cockeyed.
So to have the big deck space, I mean, we did discover, which we have a plan for lighting on the outside, the uncovered part, which needs to happen because then everyone tries to, especially once it's dark, which by 5:30 it's dark already.
Yeah.
And so everyone's underneath where the light is so you can see each other. We were playing card games. So, you know, yeah, it's called the outdoor kitchen, but really it should be like the year-round hangout or something.
Yeah.
With a much gooder name. But we did put a patio heater out there, which seemed to work pretty well.
Yeah.
Took a little bit of trial and error with its location.
Yeah, because it's like if you're right under it, those that are closest to it get really, really hot. And then the ones that are a little further away, even if it's just like 2 or 3 feet, they're not. Like, Jason and I were literally sitting across each other at a card table because it was just 4 of us after Jenna left last night. And so we could downsize because we were trying to, like, shuffle cards clear over a banquet table, right? And I was fine. I was plenty warm. Jason, on the other hand,
my hands got numb, and they never get cold, but they were cold.
Yeah. So, but it's working out great, and.
But yeah, it did. It was great. I mean, it's not as comfortable when it's cold out, but
You hand me my avocado.
But in the colder times, that's where the little heaters are. And we've talked about, we've been looking to find like one of those pop-up gazebos, but not really a pop-up, right? Like a permanent with fabric, a gazebo to put on the open part out there. Because then if we can get one that has the either removable sides or sides that you can open, then we can put one of those little propane heaters or whatever in there, and it'll keep it plenty warm, but allow everybody to be in and out. And you're not crammed in the house, because that's kind of the thing with the tiny houses. It's great for 2 people, and that's it. You get more than that, and then it's everybody. I mean, it creates communication, right?
Yeah.
Because you've got to talk to one another and be like, hey, I need to get over there, so how are we doing this? What body parts are rubbing where? Because you're not walking by one another and not at least rubbing elbows.
Yeah. And we've, taken these rainy days to clearly have a lot of conversation, which is kind of what Jason and I do best. That's a lot of avocado. But we're not even going to go into some of the things that we talked about. Mainly on, where the new house is going to go. Y'all know the gist of it. The tiny house is coming down. When that is, we don't know. Do we want to move back into the camper to do it? No. So we've made a few slight modifications, but also kind of coming back to a realization that we're not in our early 20s or 30s, and the older we get, the harder it is to take on like super big projects, you know. Even the house we did up north, it's been what, 6 years, and you add 6 years to both our lives, and it's like, wow, okay. So I think
and it's the multitude of projects, I think, too. So to say, hey, could we tackle one individual project and keep moving and keep doing it? Absolutely. You guys been around long enough to know that our brains won't allow us to work on just one at a time. Because of just the redundancy, I think, of a lot of it, right? Like, I think to me, it feels too much like a factory job, even though I've never worked one. But it's always been my biggest fear, was to work in a factory and just be doing the same thing, like pull the same lever, move the same part. Like, the redundancy of what goes on there.
Monotonous.
I've done
factory.
Monotony.
It was monotonous.
And yeah, I would lose my mind. So yeah, having the multiple projects, but then we're at a point now too where you gotta pick and choose in between the weather times. And everything's weather dependent, guys. Well, no matter what we do, and that's year round, right? It gets too hot in the summer, and we can't work out there. We're gonna have a heat stroke. It gets too cold and wet in the winter. We're gonna have hypothermia, or like everybody's got that excuse, and we do work out in it when we need to, but that's only when we need to. We have the choice. Boy, words are not working. We have the choice. Whether we want to be, work in miserable conditions or we don't. And a lot of it is prioritizing things, because we're at a point now, like, all right, so big decision already been made. Yes, the tiny house is going to come down. When, how, and where, what does that look like?
I think that's one of the things that has kind of changed, was us realizing our timeline may not be as swift as what we would like it to be, which we've set a timeline for us for maybe we won't start the new house for about 2 years, right? Okay, well, that leaves us 2 years that we still want to be comfortable and we want to function. So what can we do to the tiny house to make that happen? And this is not the first time y'all have heard this, right? We've talked about this a gazillion times. But I was sitting here doing dishes yesterday, and I had an idea. Because part of the thing is we don't want to put a lot of money into the tiny house if we're just going to tear it down. Yes, we're going to be able to like salvage materials, right? So there's that. But what if we could build a structure that's connected to the tiny house but not attached? I ain't done yet.
I understand that.
That would allow it to stay once we tear down the tiny house. That would give us what we need, and that's a first floor bedroom. I'm even more uber scared coming down every day after I fell down the stairs and had the biggest bruise I've ever had in my life, all up my left side. And boy, it hurt. And it could have been worse, because I did hit my head on the door. If I would have fallen maybe one extra step up, it could have thrown me, I go down that rabbit hole of the could have things, right? I don't want to do that again. And our stairs are cute, but they're not code. They're barely big enough for my foot. I know they're not big enough for Jason's foot. And so having a bedroom on the same...
Well, that's always been our goal, right? We said before we even bought the property, because we were talking about that when we were up north, was what is our requirement for a house? And it's always been a single-story ranch. Whether it's a cabin, cottage, whatever you want to call it, but it's going to be a single-story ranch. And then we got moved into this. So A lot of you have heard us talk about this, and yeah, obviously,
100%.
well, and you're even talking about plans that it's our idea for the moment, right? Give us 20 minutes, we'll probably come up with another idea or plan or whatever.
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
We try not to say, but also for the sake of conversation and maybe getting some of y'all's ideas or whatever, because it is, right? This is a multi-year project. As much as we'd like to believe that we could just whip it all out and we can have it all done, that's not going to happen.
I don't put my Spurtle in the dishwasher, just so you know. I appreciate you, though. My Spurtle don't go in there.
You and your words. Yeah, so, and it's also not wanting to do something to either have to redo it or tear it down or anything like that, and, you know, the whole future proofing, and I think that that's what a lot of our conversations have been lately is, okay, what we build from this point on is going to have some major permanence, right? Is let's slow down, let's think about what we need to do, and let's pretend our 5 or 10 year future, is this going to be okay? Is this where we're going to, you know, want things? Because as the structures grow in size, the more and more difficult they would be to move, and we don't even want to think about having to move some of them. I mean, the one garage storage shed, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even then, it's like, well, if we move it, where are we going to move it to? And why, and that kind of stuff. So right now, it's like, hey, but that's something you call a company, they come in, they move it. You know, if we have the new site prep and that kind of stuff. So, I don't know, exciting, right? Exciting to think about, okay, what the future looks like, to know what new projects are going to be.
But this idea.
But also overwhelming, knowing there's a lot of work to be had.
Yeah.
And kind of through our conversations and realizations, right, was our common statement in the last few days has always been, well, man, we got so much done in our first year. Like, we did so much more work. But what we didn't realize was, one, it was out of pure necessity, right? We needed to be able to get on the land. We had to do a lot of land clearing. You know, we needed chickens. We had all these things that needed to be done. Even the tiny house, right? We needed to get it finished, even though it's not 100%, just because we had kids coming to visit.
Yeah.
And they needed a place to stay, and we were staying in the place that they needed, so we needed the tiny house. But also the funding. You know, it's one of those that when we came down, the coffers were full because we had sold our property up there and we had all that stuff. But, you know, it doesn't.
It always goes quicker than what you think it's going to go.
And so now it's one of those that we're at that struggle that, you know, 95% of the world is at anyways, of you got to just do it a little bit at a time. What you can save up money for, what makes the most sense. And then, of course, when you're looking at it, and we've always tried to be pretty money conscious about it all, is save where you can save and do the amount of work where you can do the amount of work. And it doesn't always end up working out to be the best plan, but, you know.
That's the beauty of it.
What is it? It's a game plan, not a set plan.
Yeah. But this new idea I have is going to allow us to build a structure that we'll get to stay there. And, you know, it'll just be the master bedroom with closet space, right? So once we go to tear this down, it's going to be a freestanding structure. And it could just stay there. And then we have a guest cabin ready to roll. And we're not wasting money. Because we always need more space.
Right. And that's something that we've always wanted to incorporate in.
Yeah, we did. We wanted a lot of cabins.
The layout of our land and why we bought as much as we did and that kind of stuff was little guest cottages. doing the camper thing is great, and that's awesome for an overflow.
But when you come here to visit, we want you to be comfortable, you know?
Well, and I think everybody is.
They are.
It's not like we're buying an uncomfortable camper, but also we don't want it to turn into an RV campground necessarily. So, you know, yeah. It's just kind of the culmination of a lot of conversations over the last several days.
So the gist of it is, yes, we are going to be making some modifications to the tiny house, which y'all knew. This is nothing new. We were going to do it anyway. The difference, I guess, in it is we were going to do it anyway and keep it up. But we're going to do it anyway. We're still tearing it down.
Yeah. And it's going to be one of those that it might not be the most finished product when we're done. Because why take the time to do all, you know, but at the same time, it's going to be a little more finished than just a roughing. Because
yeah, I was thinking about that. I don't know. You guys tell me.
We're going to spend a couple years in this yet. So
we need to be comfortable.
Right. Like
the mudroom. I was thinking the mudroom. This was an idea I had. I haven't even shared it with you. So he's hearing it for the first time too. I know we talked about insulating the mudroom. The mudroom has to go on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why would we waste money on insulation when I can use my paint sprayer and I can just paint it all out? It's a mudroom. It's a place for us to come in.
Oh, with just apply. Yeah. And that makes sense because
we're not spending money on insulation.
We're going to need that insulation for the dining room. We'll need more insulation for... Because, and that's... I know we've talked about it quite a bit, but it's that whole... we're playing chess right now of moving things around because we want to get the studio finished, right? We want to get all of that done. We have the freeze dryer in there now. But I need to get access to the outlets, which are currently blocked because we have a bunch of insulation in there. And we have... excuse me. We have wood, we have plywood that actually we had bought, and I think it ended up being extra, and that's kind of what triggered us to say, hey, we need the mud room. Mm-hmm. And so the wood that's stacked up in there, some sheets of plywood, are actually the roof, or at least part of, the roof for the mudroom edition. And so that's all blocking out the outlets. So it's like, well, but I need to do something with that stuff. So we're not 100% sure where we're going to start with.
I think probably the mudroom.
Yeah, and I do think that was the conversation was, let's start with the mudroom. Mm-hmm. And even if it's not the total finished end product that we were looking for, at least it's a space that's more storage.
Mainly it'll be used as like a windbreak to the tiny house, but also it's going to have a lot of closet space in it and hooks and places for our shoes. Because being in the tiny house, we are overflowing with shoes and coats, and we need them all because living in this kind of climate, you can go through all 3 seasons in one day. Right. So it doesn't make sense to pack it all away, only to get it out tomorrow.
Right. So, yeah, and it's, I don't know, what is it called? The cause and effect, whatever, right? We're just trying to probably overthink it. Definitely doing that. That's 100% accurate. But also trying to do what makes sense at the time. You know, we have the holidays coming up, and, like, we're just doing stuff around here for Thanksgiving, which is going to be amazing.
Missy from Tilted K is going to be joining us.
Yeah, if Eric's off the road, which he's probably not going to be, he's going to be here too.
Yeah, but, he's not going to be.
At a minimum, we'll be blessed with having Missy here,
Chloe
and Jake, Jenna,
and maybe Nick, and then who else?
Well, I think that's it as of right now.
I've got a few people that I know we need to talk about that I'd like to extend a welcome to. So, not going to throw that out there right now, but yeah, I forgot to tell you about that.
Shocker.
Hey.
Oh, yeah.
I think that would be a good, nice...
No, yeah. So there's a few more people that we'll probably reach out to, which I guess we need to do soon because it's this week. You were about the noisiest thing.
It's unhinged. I've got stuff
We're gonna
to
be
do.
unhinged.
Ain't none of y'all expecting perfection. I'm real. Like, this is what I do in the morning.
Yeah, so because we missed being home last year, we actually did Thanksgiving at the Cracker Barrel with Dad because all the rest of the family. Well, he wanted Cracker Barrel, and any excuse he could get it, he took. And then the rest of the family had already kind of offset their days of being able to do it, so nobody really had a dinner going on Thanksgiving Day.
I think Aunt Willa and them did something after we came home, or maybe that was Christmas.
But it worked out. Like I said, we did that, and then we actually were on the road at Christmas to come home last year. So it's nice already being home, being able to relax when we want to relax, but getting some of the projects done that we need to get done. And a lot of it, honestly, is just we're trying to set a plan for the progress forward. That way we know, okay, this is our next step, because our want-tos are there, right? We've got this project to finish and that project to finish, and we want to add this and we want to add that, and there's things that we want to do, but in order to make those happen, we've got to figure out the have-tos on it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the last few days have been.
A lot of laziness, but almost just in a good way. Being able to just
right. And I look at it like, yes, it's lazy technically, right? Because we're just sitting around, we're watching the idiot box,
playing cards,
right? But it's also that recovery time, right? It's that, and that's what we've needed. That's what every one of you out there have been telling us. That,
yeah, but we're taking it to the extremes now. We're like,
well, yes and no.
Let's tell them about our new sleeping arrangement. Or a wakey arrangement. Because y'all know...
Oh, I was like, what do you mean? No, I'm not in the doghouse, guys. I'm not sleeping on the couch. No. But then I'm like, wait a minute, what do you mean? No, I'm sleeping in the same spot.
Yeah. Oh. If you've been here for any amount of time, you know I have difficulty sleeping. I can fall asleep no time flat. I'm usually asleep before he is. It's staying asleep or going back to sleep, right? And here lately it had been getting worse and worse and worse, and then of course, yeah. So what we recognized that it was doing was, it was almost like putting us on different trajectories for our day, because I'm up 3 to 5 hours before him, and because I'm trying to be polite and quiet, I can't really like start laundry. It's a tiny house, guys. Everything is extra loud in a tiny house. So what I'm able to do in the mornings is very limited without waking him up. And then it leads to me going to bed early and him staying up. And so we saw ourselves just kind of doing this thing out of no real reason other than our sleep schedules are completely off.
Yeah.
And, I don't like to see that. I don't like us doing this, right? So we came up with a plan after it was so beautiful. We sat and we talked an entire day. Just talked about everything, nothing, you name it, And one of the things that we realized is, he was taking retirement. He's always said, I'm retired. I don't have an alarm clock, And so it's just sleeping willy-nilly, right? Well, that's not really conducive to either of us being on the same page when it comes time to work or comes time to motivate one another or whatnot. And so...
Well, yeah, and we weren't maintaining the same energy levels throughout the day because, by the time I would wake up, being several hours after her, she's raring to go, and I'm just still trying to pour coffee and function and be like, I don't even know where I'm at right now. And she's 15 steps of like, let's go, 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 which is expected, right? And it's not not that we got mad at one another for none of it. It was just one of those that
put us on different
pages.
pages.
Like I said, we've been doing a lot of these, having these discussions and talking, and it's one of those, doing that reset, right? That's what this time has been meant for. This is what we have needed. It's why we said, hey, we're not going to travel as much next year, is that whole regrounding in ourselves, right? Not only on the property of what we're doing here, but us, right? Because ultimately, it doesn't matter what building structure, animals, it doesn't matter how many plants we can grow and how many trees we can cut down. And, you know, if our foundation of our relationship isn't solid, then none of the other stuff matters. And that's really was the main focus and hub of us doing this reset, is going, okay, some changes have to be made, right? We're, unbeknownst to us, it's not like we were avoiding each other, like, well, you know, I don't want to.
No.
It was actually a non-conscious thing until we sat down and realized, wait a minute.
We are way.
What's going on? So, yeah, and through this discussion, I know this has been a long story already, is she's always been afraid to wake me up. But to set an alarm, not based on like, what if she wakes up at 3 a.m.? What if she wakes up at 4 a.m.? You know what I mean? Like, she's not uber consistent most of the time. It's within an hour, but, you know, it's not one of those that she's up at 5:05 every single morning. So to say, hey, we're going to set an alarm for 5:05 every single morning. Well, what if it happens like we did the other night when we were playing cards with the kids and stuff and came in and we don't go to bed till 4 a.m. Or the night before that where we didn't go to bed till 2 a.m. You know what I mean? So I said, no, just wake me up. She's like, well, I don't want to wake you up. You need your sleep. I was like, no, I don't. You know, the effect of oversleeping is worse than undersleeping. And, you know, I guess I'm on the point where if I wake up to an alarm, which I know is very human thing out there, but it really ruins the day. Like, I'm not excited about that. But for her to roll over and be like, hey, I'm up. I've been up, you know, for a half hour, laying here, whatever.
The difference is, too, I agreed that I would work really hard at trying to fall back asleep. Like, if I didn't have to go to the bathroom, I wasn't coming down and making coffee, which, keeps you awake, you know. Or, you know, I make an effort, an attempt to go back to sleep. And he said it at a half hour. So if after a half hour I've not fallen back asleep, then I can wake him up and he's going to get up with me.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is once we decided that, now granted, I know our last couple nights over the weekend have been a little crazy because the kids have kept us up playing games. But almost like having that stress off of my thoughts and brains, I'm sleeping way much better.
Yeah, and that was the biggest key, was trying to get that restful sleep. Now there's some other things that, I mean, they're personal stuff, guys, that we're not going to put out there that we also talked about and we're putting in place to try to help with some of that stuff. And the whole idea is just, you know,
to keep us connected.
Right. And having that healthy lifestyle that we strive so hard to have. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we want to live longer, right? We want to be there for our grandkids and, you know, it'd be super exciting, even though it's scary to think about right now. But honestly, I was already scared knowing that I've been a grandpa for 6 years. But then to think about, okay, well, there's a very high chance and possibility that both of us get to see our great-grandkids. Mm-hmm. You know, which is wild to think about now, right, at our age, but it could be a very easy reality. So,
and we want to get there. So we're going to be making some changes. Yeah. Just little things here and there that, you know, are just going to help us. But like you said earlier, unless we have each other, none of it matters.
Right.
And I think that's what happens a lot of times in marriages is you get settled into a comfortable place and then you just start doing this. And then it just keeps going and it just keeps going and habits just keep repeating. And before you know it, you wake up one morning and you look at your spouse and you're like, I don't even know you. I don't even know who you are. And I'm very, 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 very cognizant of recognizing little things early on. And I ain't saying we've had problems. I'm saying over the last year or so, we've gone from, you know, at least going to bed every night together. I've always been an early riser, but then it started being where I went to bed and he didn't, or I'm up 4 or 5 hours before him. And so we just kind of started this, and I noticed things when it went boop. And I'm like, no, we need to talk about this. And so, fortunately for me, as y'all know, I have an amazing husband, and he's very, very reciprocal in the communication. Do you see it here?
No, I thought I did, but it was just a leaf moving.
Oh. So we're able to have those conversations, and it's just a beautiful thing to be able to do that. And even though it's been a little rough the last couple mornings waking him up, he's doing it. He's getting up, and it doesn't mean we get anything more accomplished other than playing games with the kids. But that's what the holidays are all about. The kids aren't always off work like this, and because they work a lot of hours, we don't get to spend as much time.
Well, and they have their own lives to live. Just because they live here doesn't, on the property doesn't mean that, we're involved with them 24/7. And there's times that we don't see them for 2, 3, 4, 5 days. So, we get excited over seeing them 2 days in a row. We're like, whoa, what happened? How do we see you for 2 days in a row? And now to actually sit down and talk to them more than a text message or a short conversation in passing. Actually spending hours of time with them, it makes me really wish the others were closer so we could do the same thing. But, to be able to do it with Jake and Jenna now is amazing. But when you have 7 kids together, it's hard to get all 7 of them. And we're hoping that someday that we can make it a habit of getting all of them together at a minimum once a year.
Which was why we wanted the extra cabins, which is why this potential new master bedroom, aka attached through a breezeway, is going to be important, because it's one more cabin structure towards our 7 cabin goal. Yeah. And it's not wasting money. I mean, we're having to spend money, yes, but it's not wasting money because it's going to stay. And it's going to provide us a little bit more extra space. Because, we need a little bit of extra space. But we're going to wrap this up, guys. We're like, we got to get our butts in gear. We got to get around. And we needed to do a coffee chat anyway. Say hello to you beautiful people. And I'm like, this is unhinged, and it just needs to be raw. And, for the most part it is. But come along to breakfast with us. So we'll let y'all go. Have a beautiful day. And if anything resonated that we said, have that communication with your spouse. And don't go down that divide. And always be protectant of your relationship. You have to be. So being protectant also means recognizing little nuances that could potentially turn into bigger things. So with that being said, I lost him.
I'm watching for deer. All right, guys. Yeah, absolutely. Have an amazing day. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.